Coming right up, a special edition of Straight Talk on the Long Beach Civic Center. Our guest tonight, Jeff Fullerton, Project Director for Plenary Edgemoor Civic Partners, and Craig Beck, Director of Public Works for the City of Long Beach, as we continue our 25th anniversary year.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by the Port of Long Beach, a leader in international trade and environmental stewardship. And the Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years. And Scan Health Plan, for your health and independence.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great show for you tonight, focused on the new Long Beach Civic Center. Our first guest is Jeff Fullerton, who's Project Director for Plenary Edgemoor Civic Partners. Jeff, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Art. Glad to be here.
It's an exciting project you guys are involved with, and it's exciting for the whole city. Give us the overall macro view of this new Civic Center project.
Well, we're certainly excited to be delivering it, and if you drive by the site now, the construction cranes are up, so it's a very exciting time. It's been a process to get here, which I'm happy to talk about. The project itself is really an overview of master plan of having a city hall, new headquarters for the Port Administration Building, a new main library downtown, a new Lincoln Park that will be redeveloped, and an exciting new private development that comes with some excess land we're able to create within the master plan that'll be a combination of hotel, possibly residential, and retail that comes in phase 2 of the project.
And this is a partnership between your entity, Plenary Edgemoor Civic Partners, and the City of Long Beach. It's a partnership, and it's a public-private partnership, so-called Triple P, which was used to develop the Deukmejian Courthouse.
Yeah, it's a great process. It really is, especially for some of these large civic-scale projects that take a lot of effort. They take a dedicated team, and we're a purpose-built team. We put our team together to deliver this project. Very similar. I was involved with the Deukmejian Courthouse. We had the same process there. We had a equity infrastructure investment fund that teamed with the contractor and the designer and the long-term O&M provider to provide a turnkey solution for the state. So, in the case of the courthouse, they had court on Friday afternoon in one building and Monday in the next, and it was coffee cup ready. We walked in, and that's all they had to do.
Well, a lot of our viewers are probably familiar with the fact that a new civic center is being built, and let's go through a few of the renderings that you were good enough to bring. The first rendering shows a nighttime view of the civic center, and just tell our audience what we're looking at. Sure.
Well, you're looking at the two buildings. You can see the twin towers, we'll call them. They're both 11-story buildings, and one of them is the port headquarters, and that sits at the corner of Ocean and Magnolia Boulevard, where the former courthouse stood. And then kind of behind that, across the Civic Plaza, is the new City Hall. And that City Hall, on the first floor, is the council chambers and some of the sort of public serving areas, the cashier's counters, the development services, the place that gets a lot of traffic. And then we've got the another 9 stories above that to make the 11-story tower at the same height as the port building. So it was kind of a nice statement. The principal architect is the same guy that we worked with on the Deukmejian Courthouse, so it's got a little bit of the same features, kind of relates to that, helps to tie and unify the downtown together a little bit, but provides a great civic statement. And certainly now, as you look down First Street, you see Lincoln and a monolithic building behind it. You'll see a much more open and transparent and I'm going to say humble government structure. The existing building was really built in a kind of a fortress architecture, if you will.
Absolutely.
And this is really meant to be much more open. We've brought Cedar Street and Chestnut Street through the projects. It reintroduces the civic grid and creates a new a holistic plan there. And then First Street comes through as a pedestrian corridor all the way through the project.
Let's go to the second rendering, indicating both citizen walkways and also Are there streets that go northwest and east-west?
Yeah, so you can, the picture you're looking at here is really, that is the landscaping plan for the Civic Plaza, the corridor between the two buildings, between the City Hall and the Port Building. That same theme will extend through the private development block in the middle where the residential and retail complex will be built, and then through to Lincoln Park as well. So there'll be a through corridor that terminates in the City Council
It's
chambers.
so much more inviting than what we have there now. And finally, let's take a look at the last rendering, which is, of course, the new library.
Right, and that's really the jewel of the project. It's one of the most exciting pieces of it for us. It was a bit of a challenge to figure out how to do it, architecturally. So what we ended up doing, and also from a phasing standpoint, we couldn't really close main library and redo it for 3 years. We, again, had to keep it open and operating. So we're building the new library on top of the existing Lincoln Garage parking structure, taking that column grid and bringing it up. And to keep the structure lightweight and also architecturally, exciting, we went with a wood frame building. So it's really a wood frame structure, very open, very kind of indoor-outdoor living feel to it, and it'll be a very nice library. We're
And where the current library is will become the park area.
Right. The current library, I'm going to say it's an underground library. It's half of it's underground. We're bringing it up out of the ground. Yeah. We'll take that hole, we'll fill it in, and we'll do the same kind of redevelopment with the park. The idea was make it more transparent. One of the issues with Lincoln Park right now is it doesn't feel like a safe place. You can't see from origin to destination. When you flatten it out, that really helps a lot. Gives people a lot more of a feeling of safety. Also makes it much more usable for, say, big events and for a lot more exciting programming that we hope to come to the park.
A civic center and a civic plaza should be inviting to all the citizens. It should be a magnet to pull people in rather than a wall to keep them away.
Yeah, that's really what we hope for. When we started on this we started this project in 2013 in the sort of RFQ and RFP process, and over the course of much of 2015, we did about 126 community meetings, really went out, talked to a lot of people, got a lot of feedback about what people wanted, what would bring them downtown, what types of things were missing, why weren't they using the existing facilities. And through all that feedback, it really helped shape and form the plan that we're looking at today.
Well, in the next segment, we're going to meet the representative of your partner, the City of Long Beach, Craig Beck, the Director of Public Works. We'll be right back after these messages.
At the Port of Long Beach, we're not only delivering jobs, smart ideas, and forward-thinking environmental initiatives. We're also delivering opportunity for all of Southern California. Oh, and a clearer horizon line. To learn more, go to POLB.com. The Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
At Performance Plus Tire, you'll find we carry Toyo tires. For over 50 years, Toyo has been a world leader in the development of high-quality tires. Optimum performance, safety, and a comfortable ride. That's what makes Toyo tires great. And now come into Performance Plus Tire for a great deal on these Toyo tires. Proxys ST, Open Country AT, and Proxys 4. Toyo tires, driven to perform. Come in today and we'll install new Toyo tires on your vehicle while you wait. Performance Plus Tire on Cherry Avenue, 1 mile north of the 405 in Long Beach.
Welcome back. Joined now by Craig Beck, who's the Director of Public Works for the City of Long Beach. Craig, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Art.
So you represent the city half of this partnership. Tell us what it looks like from your vantage point.
Well, I think from the city side, we're really excited about getting a new building. The building we're in is a little dated. It's very inefficient.
You're talking about the City Hall building.
Yes.
That 14-story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the City Hall building that we're in now is very inefficient. It has very high energy usage costs. The floor plates are small and inconsistent.
And there's an earthquake risk.
And there is a significant seismic challenge in the building, one that threatens life and property. And we just don't believe that if we had an earthquake event, we would be able to occupy that building. And it's imperative we move forward in a new structure.
And we mentioned this briefly in the first segment with Jeff, that this is being done as a triple P partnership, public-private partnership, which was the model for the Deukmejian Courthouse that worked out successfully from the city standpoint.
Yeah, you'll hear the term DBFOM, or Design, Build, Finance, Operate, and Maintain. And I think why I bring that up, one of the important elements of this project is the project company, which Jeff represents, will actually maintain the building for us and operate it over the 40-year span of the term of this agreement.
So the risk and the responsibility is moved from the city over to your partner as far as maintaining costs, construction costs, and operating costs.
Yeah, the real benefit of going in this direction from a financing tool is that the project company owns the risk. They have the responsibility of delivering the project on time. They have the responsibility of operating it. So they want an efficient building, one that uses less electricity, as an example. So over time, we're going to be in a LEED Gold, hopefully, building, which is a sustainable building, one that is good for the community and costs less energy to run.
And the flip side of that is they are given the opportunity on some of the other space in this square parcel to build a high-rise, either hotel or apartment house or condominiums to make a profit on, subject to the control of the city as far as zoning goes.
Yeah, I think Jeff talked about earlier how this project brings through Chestnut and Cedar, so that one long block that the City Hall currently occupies is going to be split into 3 city blocks. And we're really trying to re-engage the Civic Center back to the downtown community and the community as a whole. We believe it's important to have people access the property, be able to walk through the property, drive through the property, and splitting those up makes a lot of sense. So with a new library, a new park, a new port building, a new city hall, and council chambers, let's not forget, we have created an opportunity to build a private development project in between the park and city hall. And I think that really is going to knit the blocks together and create more energy in the downtown.
What control mechanisms are in place to assure that the city is not overpaying and that the city is benefiting in the way it's supposed to under the original contract?
There was a lot of work that was put in place before this item ever came to council for approval. And so there's actually an agreement between the city and the project company that's very specific on what requirements they have to deliver a building, to operate a building. And basically the city's making, we'll call it a rent payment if you will, but we're making an annual payment to occupy the space. And under the P3, we've been able to shift a lot of the construction risk to the project company.
Jeff, you've worked with the city before on the Deukmejian Courthouse, as was mentioned several times. How does it look from your perspective in trying to, I mean, you are a for-profit entity, you're not a charity, so you want to max out the amount of money you're going to make on this project. How do we as the city protect ourselves from you going overboard on that way and somehow shorting us?
Okay, yeah, sure. And this was a very tall ask from the city. The original ask was build us a new city hall, port building, library, new park, but don't spend any more than we currently spend to maintain the old building.
And that was Mayor Forster sold it on that basis.
That's right.
You won't pay any more, and you get all this.
Very true. Now,
which instinctively sounds great, but it sounds so great you wonder.
Well, there's one nuance in there, right? Which is the city often cuts maintenance budgets down, as Craig knows, as the Director of Public Works. Maintenance is always a tough thing to get budgets for. So the city was faced, in addition to what was $12.6 million a year in 2013 to maintain the building, there was another $6.7 million a year of deferred maintenance that they were not funding. So when you added those two numbers together, our service payment that Craig talked about is actually about 30% less than the city should have been spending to maintain the city hall. So that we felt was an achievement to come, but it took a lot of work on the financing side, a lot of work on the construction side. We get a lot of actually efficiency out of marrying the design, build, finance, operate, and the maintain projects together, because you have, for an example, the operator at the table. We spend a little bit more money up front, and you get a much more robust building that doesn't have as long a maintenance. So we look at our value curve over that 35, 40 years and say, how can we continue to make that net present value the lowest possible amount? And the private land was a key part of this deal. I mean, it wasn't free. It wasn't a gift. I mean, we are essentially writing the city a check for the value of that land, for the full market value, to be able to put that into the deal to offset those costs so that we can meet the number that they asked us to hit.
That's where the deferred maintenance costs come in, that you got this land basically to cover that cost?
Well, we had to hit the annual payment had to be less than they wanted it to be less than the $12.6 million. It turned out to be less than the total amount of roughly $19 million if they considered the deferred maintenance. But in order to do that, we take that payment, but we also get the value of the private land, which we then write a check back to the entity for.
You are not kicking the deferred maintenance down the road.
No,
you
we're
are
sucking it up. We're taking it. Yep.
And it comes from the land value that you're getting to.
It comes from the overall mix of the components. So we get land value. We've got a payment from the port who's buying their building. We've got a payment from the city in terms of their monthly rent that Craig talked about.
And I think, Art, one value on the city side that we should talk about, we're bringing elements of city operations into the new building that we're currently paying off-site lease space. So they're in buildings that are not in City Hall. We're able to bring them into the new building
And eliminate the rent payments to the landlords of those buildings.
Exactly. So that's a benefit to the city, both operationally, it helps us be more efficient, and it eliminates
So
that
ideally,
cost.
it's a win-win for both sides. It's the kind of agreement, I would imagine, that if both parties don't ultimately feel good about it, it's not a success.
And I think one interesting part about the term of the agreement, so we have a 40-year term with Project Company who's going to maintain and operate the facilities for us.
Now that was lengthened. It was originally 30 years. Why did it go to 40?
Yeah, I think it just made more sense to go to 40 because you could make the financing work, and it helped the deal all come together to make sure that we got the premier library that we want, to make sure that the park that's being built is really representative of what the downtown community is looking for. There's a lot of new residents that are moving into the downtown. I think it's important to have some green space available to them.
So you wanted a real quality project.
We wanted a quality
and willing
project.
to pay for it.
A little bit more than the base cost, and I think adding those outside leases and extending the term really helped us get there. And it's important to note that...
And that was important from your standpoint, another 10 years of payments, and that's beneficial to you.
Right. Certainly, as you know, if you take out a 20-year mortgage, it's a higher monthly payment than if you take out a 30-year mortgage. And so it's a similar line that you lengthen it out, you can put more capital costs for the same monthly payment.
Yeah, and then at the end of the term, the project company delivers a quality building to the city. So at the end of that term, we get the asset, and there's a standard in which you rate a building facilities condition, or an FCI index, and they have to return it to us at 80 to 85% of what a new building would be after a 40-year term.
Really?
So that's an important feature that I want to make sure the audience understands.
Okay, we'll be continuing with this great discussion after these messages.
How do you like your chances the rest of the way?
I got no idea. But I do know that if we stay with Naples Rib Company, at least we won't go hungry.
Coach, what do you think about some of those questionable calls tonight?
Yeah, but if you want a sound call, I'd call Naples Rib Company. You can't miss on that call.
Then Naples Rib Company is part of your game plan?
There really is nothing more motivating than a great barbecue meal at Naples Rib Company.
Victory or not, Naples Rib Company, great game plan. Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember, Polly's, 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Charter Our Community, along with our partners at Rebuilding Together, have helped more than 1,100 homeowners in the communities Charter serves, and we're helping more every day.
Everything is fantastic. I can't believe it.
At Charter, we're committed to improving the places people call home and ensuring that families live in safe and suitable housing.
It's just a big blessing for me. Couldn't do it by myself.
Visit charterourcommunity.com for helpful home safety tips or for information on how you can get involved.
We are back with this fascinating discussion on our new Civic Center. Craig, when will this thing all be built and finished?
Well, Art, I think you've been to City Hall recently. You've seen the hole down.
There's a big hole.
There is a big
and
hole.
Big cranes.
And 2 big cranes that are up, and it's scheduled to open in June of 2019.
Jeff, is that, are you going to hit that target? It's one thing to be scheduled, it's another thing to actually be there.
Yeah, Jeff, are you going to hit the target?
We're going to hit the target.
Okay.
It's too early to call, but right now we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and we're excited about that. So, the best way for folks to stay tuned to it is really our project website, which is pecplongbeach.com, and there you'll see the construction cameras. We'll be posting updates. We've got some more current photos, all the things people can look at.
So you have real-time construction
Absolutely.
cameras?
Yes. Yeah.
That's fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I know growing up in New York City as a kid, we all like to look down in holes. There are peepholes in the wooden dividers, and you'd see those steam shovels digging, and those cranes are enormous. They're very high. We trust they won't tip over or anything.
They won't tip over, and you can go back and rewind the footage and watch the project and fast forward and so you can look at all of that.
Well, it must be satisfying to be engaged in a field where you're building quality projects like the Deukmejian Courthouse, and we trust the Civic Center.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's a great part of real estate development to leave a tangible legacy and projects that we can be proud of. We hope to be as proud of the Civic Center or more than we are of the Deukmejian Courthouse. And
I think for me, this is once in a career type of opportunity where you actually get to work on a new city hall. It's really exciting, and it's not just a city hall, but our partners at the port work very closely with that team. They're going to have a new administration building, a new park, and a new library. It's a very exciting project to be part of the team.
And my own view, I know others share it and others may disagree, but I think that the redevelopment of this site will have a dramatic influence on neighboring sites that are not part of the project, but will stimulate private investment in the area surrounding the new Civic Center.
Yeah, I think the city of Long Beach is sending a strong signal that it's investing in its downtown and it's investing in its infrastructure. And you've seen the private sector respond. There's a lot of activity going on in downtown and other areas of the city. There's new projects happening in North Long Beach. There's projects going on all over the city. So Long Beach is a place to be.
And a little bit about up close and personal with our guests. Jeff, you originally were trained as an accountant.
Yep.
And you then got your MBA at Stanford?
I did, yeah. So neither one of them taught me how to deliver a city hall for less than it cost to maintain the old one, but you learn something new every day.
And Craig, you're a Long Beach State alum.
I am a Long Beach State alum. Go Beach!
Yeah, and your alma mater is really hitting its stride here. We had 90,000 applications last year for 8,000 places. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
And I was teaching business law when you were taking it, but not from me, so you learned a lot.
Yeah, I've been working for the city for a number of years, and it's really fun to see the city changing and all the excitement.
It's really gratifying as a professor to see how many of our students stay in Long Beach with jobs, whether it's with the port, the city, Boeing when it was in its heyday. There's a real sense of community here. So thank you both for joining us here, and we appreciate all the work you're doing, and we'll be back with the rest of our show after these messages.
Phil Trainees mixes California style with continental cuisine that includes fresh seafood from around the world. Since Phil is the chef, the menu has a wide variety of pastas, salads, soups, and appetizers that feature his unique personal touch. And the Italian-American signature dishes are simply beyond delicious. You never know who you're going to run into at Trainees, from the famous sports legends on the Wall of Fame to local celebrities having a drink at the bar. For the best fine dining experience, visit Phil Trainees.
There's a world of opportunity available through the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach. Would you like to move ahead in the field of human resources and personnel management? Sign up for the Human Resources Management Certificate Program. You'll learn how to expand your knowledge and skills and advance in this dynamic industry. For more information, contact the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach.
You've been planning this moment for a long time. It couldn't be a more perfect moment. And you have the perfect ring that will tell her, I want to love you forever. But nothing is perfect.
Don't listen to that guy. He got the ring at McCarty's.
McCarty's makes a moment.
Well, this is an exciting time in the life of the city. We have a potentially really quality project being built that in all likelihood will stimulate development throughout the downtown area. And we seem to have first-class folks who are running the project, both from the city standpoint. Craig and Jeff, you and your firm have a great track record. Final words to our viewers.
Well, we're just excited. We're waiting for ribbon cutting. Go Beach. We look forward to seeing everybody at June 19.
June
of 2019.
Okay.
You heard it from Jeff. So
okay.
we look to hit that date, and I just want to say that this is a fantastic project and excited to be part of it.
Gentlemen, thank you both for coming here and sharing your enthusiasm for this project. And thank you guys for watching. Please join us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by the Port of Long Beach, the Press Telegram, and Scan Health Plan. And remember, Straight Talk is viewable 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.
Thousands of dollars may be yours. Find out if you qualify for state and federal earned income tax credits. Get free income tax assistance from certified preparers at a VITA event or site near you. For more information, visit boe.ca.gov/VITA. Chairman Jerome Horton encourages you to make your appointment today. Call 1-866-910-9559. It's your money. Get it.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.